Good morning. Today I would like to discuss about the quantum world and its relation to the human life. In day-to-day life, the human beings use many visible and invisible forces which are made up of tiny particles or quantum particles, and the forces are such as electric energy, electromagnetic energy, sound energy, light energy, gravity waves, water, air energy, nuclear energy, and many other such invisible forces that exist in the nature. Similarly, it's also a well-known phenomenon that a human being consists of visible body and invisible mind and soul, which carries the all-pervading consciousness of the universe. The existence of quantum particles are well known to the human beings, and it is gathered from the history that Maharshi Kanad had first introduced the idea of Parmanu, also known as atoms, about 2700 years ago. He is a sage. So it is clearly visible that the study of quantum particles or atoms is being done from ancient times and is continued in the present times, as can be seen from the Nobel Prizes of Physics and Chemistry for 2023 are given to 6 scientists, 3 for physics and 3 for chemistry. And the scientists which got Physics Nobel Prize for 2023 has demonstrated a way to create extremely short pulses of light that can be used to measure the rapid processes in which electrons move or change energy. And the Nobel Prize for Chemistry is given to 3 scientists for their discovery and development of quantum dots, nanoparticles so tiny that their size determines their properties. So it is evident that the study on quantum particles started long ago and is still continuing in the present age. The particles are found to have wave energy in many frequencies all over the world. The tiny particles will have energy and vibrates in many frequencies, resulting in wave nature similar to the electromagnetic spectrum, starting from radio waves up to the gamma rays. Even every part in the body responds to different frequencies, and an example of brainwave is given in the slide. Joe Dispenza, a famous philosopher, says that every idea and every feeling in the human body produces electromagnetic frequencies if they are in tune with the universal frequencies. You get more benefits, and the vice versa if they are not matching. It is observed that electrons are not the only particles to consist of localized vibrations of a field, and all other particles also have the same vibrations. There is a photon field, a quark field, which is a type of elementary particle and a fundamental constant of matter, a gluon field, a type of elementary particle that mediates the strong interaction between the quarks, a muon field, one of the fundamentals about subatomic particles. And indeed, there is a field for every known particle. And for all of them, the thing that we visualize as a particle is just a localized vibration of that field. Even the recently discovered Higgs boson is also acting like this. Similar to the particles, the mighty planets in the galaxies spins, revolve in orbits with various time periods. So everything in this universe is moving always. The Hindu scripture says that even the visible physical body will also consist of several invisible bodies, which are known as astral body, subtle body, and spiritual causal body. The subtle body and the causal body, both of them will be associated with the soul. The causal body is the focal point of consciousness for the human being. Consciousness and the mind are often considered synonymous. The word consciousness refers to one's awareness of his unique thoughts, memories, feelings, sensations, and his environment. Consciousness is subjective and unique to each person. Consciousness is being energy of the soul is spiritual, whereas mind is material. And the mind is the seat of consciousness. Swami Vivekananda says, as body, mind, or soul, you are a dream. You really are being consciousness. Bliss, which is called as Satchidananda. You are the God of this universe. So accordingly, every individual will have his own consciousness depending upon his awareness and perception. The consciousness is consisting of different types of properties basing on the status of the individual. As we have seen, the mind is a link between the sense organs of the body and the self. Consciousness is considered to be finer than the mind and is all pervasive, omnipresent, and omniscient. Consciousness and its relation to the physical body were thoroughly analyzed in the Indian philosophy of ancient times. Consciousness is the individual awareness of your unique thoughts, memories, feelings, sensations, and environments. Essentially, your consciousness is your awareness of yourself and the world around us. This awareness is subjective and unique to you. If you can describe something you are experiencing in words, then it is part of your consciousness. Your conscious experiences are constantly shifting and changing. It is said that there are three different types of consciousness, which is social consciousness, individual consciousness, and ordinary consciousness. It is further told that a mere consciousness is realized in the waking stage, but in dreaming state we have unconsciousness, and in the deep sleep state we will have subconsciousness. And when you are absolute, your consciousness is full. So far we have seen the individual consciousness, but there is also universal consciousness. The individual consciousness is an original information and physical hypothesis that provides for necessary premises and conditions enabling the origination of subjective categories of consciousness. Universal consciousness is a state of awareness in which the individual's consciousness becomes one with the universe. One who experiences the universe within self and the self in the universe then is in tune with the universal energy. The body is individual, the mind is individual. Consciousness cannot be individual. It can be only be inclusive, says Sadhguru of Isha Foundation, India. Let us say that consciousness is the pure light of clarity, knowledge. With the universal consciousness, we are part of that light with which we can then unite. Eckhart Tolle says that each individual is an expression of the collective consciousness of humanity, and the collective consciousness of humanity is an expression of the universal consciousness. So now we have seen that there will be individual consciousness, and if it is collective, it becomes universal consciousness. Now we will see the similarities between consciousness and quantum energy. One of the most perplexing aspects of quantum mechanics is that tiny subatomic particles don't seem to choose a state until an outside observer measures it. The act of measurement converts all the vague possibilities of what could happen into a definite concrete outcome. While the mathematics of quantum mechanics provides rules for how that process works, that math doesn't really explain what that means in practical terms. One idea is that consciousness and awareness of our own selves and the impact we have on our surroundings plays a key role in measurement, and that it's our experience of the universe that converts it from merely imagined to truly real. Similar to quantum phenomena, consciousness occurs when one applies one's internal detectors to receive the vibrations, information, energy, and matter related to an object or phenomena. Each object has its unique detectors determined by the possible vibrations it can absorb or emit, its spectrum. Quantum mechanics states that particles can also behave as waves. When observer is watching, electrons are forced to behave like particles and not like waves, and when they are left unobserved, they behave like waves. Thus, the mere act of observation affects the experimental findings. For us to see an electron, a photon must be interact with it, and this interaction will change the behavior of electrons. This effect is also known as observer effect. In contrary, Donald says that quantum physics tells us that nothing that is observed is unaffected by the observer. This is a contradictory. That statement from science holds an enormous and powerful insight. It means that everyone sees a different truth because everyone is creating what they see. So now we can observe that the knowledge of observant item or particle or incident varies with the perception or consciousness of the observer. So the observer will think of different states of the same item, the particle, as a single particle or a wave, depending on the type of vision he has on the observant. Alderson says quantum physics could be called the science of consciousness. Paramahamsa Yogananda says whether floating in birth or disappearing in death, I am indestructible consciousness, protected in the bosom of spirit's immortality. Max Planck says that I regard consciousness as fundamental, I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness. So this quantum consciousness is related to the soul progression. Soul progression is the incarnation of a soul for a lifetime, including all experiences and resulting evolution. Soul consciousness is being aware of one's soul and its desires. The individual souls or jivas, as called in Hinduism, build various bodies to display their activities and gain experience from this world. They enter the bodies and leave them when they become unfit to live in, says Shivananda of Divine Life Society of India. They build new bodies again and leave them again in the same manner. This is known as transmigration of souls. Death is not the end of life. It is merely cessation of an important individuality. Life flows on to achieve its consequent of the universal. Life flows on till it merges in the eternal. In Hinduism, the ultimate goal of the soul is to attain moksha, which is a liberation from the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Moksha can also mean freedom from samsara, the cycle of death and rebirth. According to Puranas, the jiva passes through 8.4 million different births, which includes the animal and plant kingdoms, before it attains a human form. And depending on our karmas, our jiva will regress into a lower life form due to bad karmas, or progress into a higher life due to righteous karmas. A jiva's birth into a human body is the highest and rarest of all births. The conscious soul, aware of spirit flowing through all that lives, transcends and previous human boundaries. We have seen the individual consciousness and the universal consciousness. So now we would like to conclude that be infinitesimal and think universal for soul progress. Have faith in your life. In your faithfulness lies your progressibility. Albert Einstein says, a human being is a part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from the prison by widening our circle of compassion to emerge all living creatures, to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its reality. Shoghi Effendi says that the progress of the soul does not come to an end with death. It rather starts along a new line. Baha'u'llah teaches that great and far-reaching possibilities await the soul in the other world. Spiritual progress in that realm is infinite, and no man while on this earth can visualize its full power and extent. So, as living entities, we are very minute, infinitesimal. Indeed, the magnitude of the individual spirit soul is so microscopic that it cannot be seen. One cannot even imagine it with his material senses. The infinitesimal calculus of the soul guarantees the soul's unending progress towards its own perfection. The soul will naturally fill up and expand and become everything without changing its quality. Faith requires no reason, no logic, and no critical thinking. Faith is thus unreasonable, and illogical. You are already connected to your soul. You are your soul. If you want to be more in tune with the higher self, just relax your mind and imagine melting back to your higher self. As Joe Dispenza says, by combining clear intention with elevated emotion, you can remember your future and create a big explosion on the quantum field, leading to significant changes in your life. So we all know that man is a spiritual being, a soul. So it is our responsibility to have faith on our own selves, and this faith and belief and clear intention will surely take us to the elevated worlds, maybe in the quantum field, through our consciousness. Thank you.